Good afternoon. Today I'm going to give you a quick overview of the features in PropertyZar. So we'll go through a PowerPoint first because there'll be some things I won't be able to show you, and it's just easy to show it in a PowerPoint, and then we'll dive into the software. First of all, the subscription comes with, depending on which subscription, I should say, comes with training and support, a tenant app and a web portal, both of them, an owner app and a web portal for the owners, a vendor app and a property inspection app, and an online application, as well as a custom website if you go with the enterprise. I'm going to just briefly go through this fairly quick. You can always pause this recording and rewind it if you need to. The key features, we do electronic payments, ACH and credit cards. ACH is $1, credit cards are 2.9%. Automatic late fee calculations, recurring bills and invoices, background screenings, electronic leases if you buy the enterprise version. Syndicate your properties out to Zillow and apartments.com, and all their affiliates, by the way. There's about a dozen in total. Now, of course, you would have to have an account with Zillow. Zillow has changed their business model, but we do syndicate out your properties to them. Automatically email and text reminders, custom online application questions. We have a complete accounting system, or you can use QuickBooks. We do fully integrate with QuickBooks. You don't use both accounting. It's either ours or QuickBooks. So if you use QuickBooks Online, we do integrate with them. And as we come across certain things, I will kind of point out some of those integrations. And we offer credit reporting. That's like a credit builder, builds the tenant's credit based on their rent payments each month that they make. Okay. This is moving a tenant, paying an owner. This is, I'll go through this in the software, but basically it will calculate how much is owed to the owner based on a time frame, usually a month at a time. It'll calculate your management fees, and then it will say how much you can send to the owner, how much the owner should expect, I should say. You can transfer those payments via electronic payment, or you can just do a check or any other method. Key features: moving a tenant out. We'll show their current security deposit. You have a place for a forwarding address. You can have custom move-out charges automatically. So if you want to add cleaning and maintenance fee, for example, all you do is check this one checkbox, and it'll automatically add as a current invoice. And then that'll deduct from his balance or what he owes you, whatever the difference is. Okay. It will also clear out his account, close the lease, restrict his access to the portals, and does all the cleanup behind the scenes. Okay, but it does all the accounting entries using our accounting, not QuickBooks. It will do all the accounting entries automatically for you, and there's nothing you have to do into the accounting unless it's something specific that you're doing. Key features continue with you can set progressive rent increase, and when you create an invoice and the lease, it'll generate that lease to where you can set the rent to increase automatically in a given time. Let's say 1 year out, you're going to automatically change the invoice to the new rent amount. It'll do that for you once you set it up when you do the lease. Let's review the mobile apps. I'm only going to show you some screenshots for this demo. This is the tenant app. All of our apps and portals can be changed in different languages: English, Spanish. I think we have French in there, Arabic. I think we have Chinese. If you need another language, let us know. We put it in. They can see their balance. They can pay their bill. They can also buy renter's insurance, submit work orders, communicate with you as a property manager or landlord. Here's the owner app. If you're a property manager, owners would want to use this app. They can look at the vacancies. They can submit new work orders, lease properties, and so on. I'm going to show you the actual portals as well, which is a few more extra features, but these are the mobile apps. Okay, they can communicate with you as well. They can look at their occupancy rate. They can run some reports. Then this is the property inspection app. Allows you to go out and do on-site inspections. You select if you want to do a new property inspection. And by the way, a property is a unit. We call them units and/or properties. It's a rentable unit, basically. A building would hold multiple units. Building could be like a strip store, a mall, anything that has multiple units, such as a strip store, for example, would hold, like, let's say you have 5 suites inside your strip store. So the 5 suites would be your individual properties / units, and the building could be your building name, your strip store name, maybe like Farmland Corner or whatever your name of your building is. So that's the difference, real quick. So let's do property. What property or unit do you want to inspect? Then what template do you want to use? We can customize and add new templates if needed. And then it loads up the template. These are a couple screenshots only. All of these are round buttons you tap with your finger on your phone. But for each item in each room, you can mark it as good, fair, poor, repair, replace, camera, take pictures, notes, and a work order if you have to create a work order when you run across something that needs some work done. Right? Then this is, of course, the master bath, and of course, the items in the master bath. Okay. Here I took a picture. Here I'm creating a work order. Found out the filters need replacing in the HVAC. At the end of the inspection, while you're out on the field, you can actually email the report to the owner, the subscriber, and or the tenant. Now, if you're self-managing, you're going to be the owner and the subscriber, one and all. If you're a property manager, you're going to be our subscriber, but so you can therefore send it to the owner of whatever property you inspected. So that's the difference there. Here's a sample of the report. Again, I just took a couple snippets, the date and time. It loads up the details and start loading up your pictures, and then your room, your condition, and then any notes that you may have put during the inspection. You can put notes in there. Okay. And then this goes to the next room and so on. So pretty straightforward. This is the vendor app for electricians, repair people. They don't have to use it because of all of our work orders can be emailed or text to the vendor. But if they want to use it, they can. This is their app. Again, they can change the language. They can submit a work order. They can view the work orders. These view work orders only allow them to see the work orders that you've assigned to them. They don't see all work orders. They can view the work order. They can submit a bill with the enter bill button. Here's their bill. Put in save, and it will automatically enter a bill into PropertyZar. Okay. This is a custom website. We can do custom websites depending on your subscription as well. This is a sample one. We put the links across the top, whatever you want. It's customizable. You send us your pictures, your images, as well as your text. We also have a property search page. So when you look at, when you put this out, of course, this is a marketing site, so it's out open to the public. If they're looking at your properties and they want to see what properties you have available, they can hit a search. It'll load up the properties that you have vacant or available. If they're leased out, they're not going to show here because they're currently in the lease. But these are your vacant or soon to be vacant. And there's a setting you can set to start advertising maybe 10 days before people move out or whatever the case is. They can maps it out, of course. They can view the details and all these, the top images will scroll through all the images that you've loaded in PropertyZar. You can see the details. You can apply, they can apply online. And this is the first page of the online application. This all comes with the enterprise subscription. And actually, the online application will come with all your subscriptions, whether it's a basic, standard, or enterprise. The custom website only comes with the enterprise. This is the online application. Again, it's just a snippet. There's more to this information. They can upload documents. They can, this is the second page. They can put their references, employers, occupants, and so on. Here are custom questions. If you created any custom questions, this is totally up to you, but we do allow you to create your own questions. I've created 2. Do you smoke? And have you ever been evicted before? Okay. And then once they submit the application, you will receive an email notification. You'll also get a task created for you. You can then review, print the application if you want to print it. Most people do not print anymore. You can order the background screening if everything else looks good, and do your normal process. Okay. So now let's dive into PropertyZar. So once I log into PropertyZar, this is my dashboard. Real quick, number of owners. All of these are pretty self-explanatory. They're all clickable as well. So you can actually click and go to the total properties and so on. Alerts will be for anything. This is a new work order. Renter's insurance. Somebody is saying bought some renter's insurance policy. Again, it's just meant to be a quick alert. You can click and go to the items with these links, or just archive them and clear them out of your alert list. Okay. Anytime someone makes a payment, here's a new payment was received. You can see it, and again, it's just meant to be an alert, and then you can just archive it. Okay, and it goes away. All right. These are leases expiring. You can set up to whatever you want, but it'll show you any leases that are expiring in the next, in this case, 3 months. And with the clickable link, so you can actually click and navigate to the lease. But it's then you can do whatever you need to do, such as contacting them and asking them if they're going to renew or make your plans accordingly. Late invoices will show up here. All of these will be anything that's late will show up here. You can mark it as collect. Mark it as paid or collect the payment if you want to right from here. By the way, if you are integrated with QuickBooks, this will still show, and these actually pull directly from QuickBooks. Okay. Any tasks that are due, I've got this week, but you do this month or whatever. Tasks are like Outlook tasks, things to do. You can add a new one here with the plus sign. These are open work orders down here at the bottom. Again, this is meant to be a snapshot. It's not meant to be everything where you drive from, but it's just a snapshot. You can click on any of these to go to the work order. Okay. Due date and some information over here. Over here on the left-hand side, this is where you get into all the details. Again, this is a snapshot. Over here are the details. This is where you list your owners, your buildings, properties, tenants, applicants, leases. Accounting is everything accounting. We'll touch on that. Work order management, furniture, fixtures, and equipment if you track that. Vendors, list of your vendors, communications, documents, tasks. We have a full schedule module and full reporting. We have a lot of reports. A couple things to note: if you go without basic, some of these features are not available, such as communication and so on. So if you, I'll show you this is the basic subscription. You have some of the same features, but you notice the left bar is limited. There's a few extra things that are missing. You don't have appointments, and you won't be able to do communications. Not available in your basic subscription. Now you can communicate one-on-one, but you can't do a mass communication like sending to multiple tenants at one time. Okay, so there are some features limited with the basic, as well as support. You won't have the support options that you have, and basic is limited to 20 units at this moment. It could change in the future. Okay. All right, so we'll just minimize that. So real quick, let me show you the tenant portal. So I showed you the images of the tenant app. So this is the tenant portal. Once you log in, it'll show you the balance. Even if you're integrated with QuickBooks, this balance will still pull directly from QuickBooks. Okay. If they pay now, they can pick which invoices they want to pay. And again, it gives you the estimated processing fee because my credit card is by default. But if you choose e-check, it's going to only be $1 no matter how much they pay. Okay. So they would pay this total instead of $14.65, the tenant would pay $14.66. Okay. If you want to cover that cost, you can. It's totally optional, but most everybody passes that on to the tenant. Okay. They can add their own bank accounts and credit cards here. They can buy renter's insurance. They can submit a work order right from here if they want to. They can view the work orders that they've already submitted to see the status of them with you. They can communicate with you, email or text. They can sign up for the credit builder, accept the terms here, and sign up. The credit builder currently is $3 a month paid by the tenant. They don't have to. It's optional. But if they want to build their credit score, this is a great way of doing that for $3 a month. Okay. And documents, they can upload documents here. They can also look at documents that you share with them. Okay. And I'll point this out. We are currently on Sam Anderson's record as a tenant. So we'll remember him and we'll go over. I'll show you that in PropertyZar. Okay. And then, of course, they can change their language here as well. Okay. Most all the same features as the app, the mobile app. This is the owner portal. If you're self-managing, you probably won't need to use the owner portal. You just use PropertyZar because you are one and the same, an owner and a manager. So, but if you're a property manager, this would be for the owners. If they had a balance, they could they'll see there. The pay now will allow them to pay. Now, two things I'll point out because it's in development, will be released as early as next week. Today is currently August around the 15th, 2021. So a new feature will come out next week. Will be an auto pay button right here. So they can set up auto pay to automatically pay these outstanding balance. Okay, same thing for the owner. Owner's going to be able to auto pay. Maybe owner has to pay an HOA every month. Okay, so that auto pay will come out. They have a ledger. You can expand the ledger and see the ledger. You can email the ledger, and if they want to print it off, the ledger's all their invoices and all their payments and what their current balance is. Okay, again, that's the same as the tenant. I didn't show that to you, but it is here. It does minimize by default. But this is the balance, and you can see the balance down here, 912.25, which is what you see up here. Okay. So let's go back to the owner. The owner can look at expiring leases, vacant properties, leased properties, new work order. The owner can submit, view their work orders that are assigned to their properties that they own, rent to applicants. I'm sorry. Communications, they can communicate with you just like a tenant can. Reports, they can run reports, owner statements, profit and loss, rent rolls, work orders. Again, this is specific to this owner only. They only see their records. Okay. You can turn off reports if you want to by going over here to the owners, and you can actually turn it off so the owner cannot run reports. Okay. That's an option you have control over. Okay. So that's the owner portal and the tenant portal. In case they don't have a smartphone, or they don't want to use an app, they can use the portals. Okay, real quick, owners. I'll point out to you real brief. This is where you list all your owners. All of our software works the same way. Every page you click on generally has a grid here. All grids are sortable. You can sort descending, no sort ascending, or name or email or phone. You can also filter with these little tildes at the end. I should say hamburger is what they call hamburger. If you click on that, you can start typing in. If I just type in Bob, for example, it filters it to whatever meets Bob, the condition of Bob. Okay, pretty straightforward. All the grids work the same way. If you need to pay the owner, let's get rid of that filter. You can just back it out. If you need to pay an owner, you got two ways of doing it. You can click on the owner, which is we'll pick on Kyle McCall right here at the bottom. And there's a pay owner button here under actions. You can do it this way. And let's see if I have anything for this month. I may not. We'll try it. Okay. It did come up, but I don't have any refund to give them. So I've already done this where I've already gave them out $3,415 disbursement this month. So we've collected $910 in income for his properties, but because I already gave it to him this month, that's why it's negative. So I will give you an example of one how this works real quick in a little bit. Okay, or you can pay multiple owners at one time. You can come down here and check all the owners that you want to pay. It'll auto calculate. The same thing you just saw, auto calculate what's owed to them, and then you can pay all owners at one time, okay, for a time period, usually a month at a time. If you need to add a new owner, click on new owner and simply add a new owner. Buildings are, I explained earlier, buildings hold multiple properties or units. Just to let you know, this label will probably be changed in the future. It will probably be changed over to rental units as a label instead of properties. It just seems to be a little bit more standard now. Things have been changing. But a building is a building. You may or may not have buildings in your portfolio. A lot of people don't. Personally, I have rental units and it's just all it's all single family, I should say. So I don't have any buildings. So if you go over here to properties, for example, this is your rental units. And you can see if I'll sort by building name, all of these are my standalone properties. Okay, they're not tied to a building, in other words. Then these are tied to my building. 900 building could be apartment, an actual apartment building, like building A, building B sometimes. This is inside my mall. I have a small mall, so that's my building. Then these are all my properties or my rental units inside that mall. Suite 200, 300, 500, and so on. Okay, same thing with a strip store. Could be even a mobile home park. You want to make a building, you have a mobile home park, make a building called your mobile home park, okay, whatever that name is. It doesn't have to be brick and mortar. That way you can put your lots, and this is lot 21 with a mobile home. This is lot 11 empty, so they have to bring their own mobile home. So you can do all that. Why would you want the building and the property? one main reason you could run reports, financials. So I can run a financial on my building, my property, or my owner. Okay, unless you're self-managing, of course, it's just yourself. So let me quickly show you what the benefits are. So let's jump over to reports, and then we're going to come back to properties. I'm going to click on profit and loss right here. These are my favorites. I'm going to click on profit and loss. It's going to open up my profit and loss report. I'm going to pick, I'll just do this month. Let me back up. I may want to make sure I got enough data because this is all test data and I may not have enough. But see, I can do all properties, owners, or building. I'm going to do all initially. Actually, let me grab a lot of data. Okay, so I'm going to go back 4 months. Okay, this is a P&L. You typically will run a quarterly, monthly, and annual. Okay, so this is my P&L. This is my townhome. That's a building or property and / property. Florida condo, townhome, suite 200, townhome, and so on. You get the point of it. This is all income, and then it's going to subtract out your expenses. Right. So now let's just change. I just want to see my mall. So we'll do Bradley Square Mall, and this will be all income or expenses related to the mall. Okay. So here I got Suite 500. Of course, it's only one page now. Got Suite 500. This is just the mall itself, not a particular suite. Let's back this up one more. I want to get a little bit more data. Okay, so here I got a little bit more data. So here it's still my mall. Okay, so here Suite 400, Suite 300, Suite 600, and so on. So this is basically all my units, properties inside my mall. Okay, so they're all filtered just by the mall. Okay, now that's fine, but I want to see what suite. Let's pick one. I want to see what Suite 400 did. So I can also do it by Suite 400, and we'll do Suite that, and we'll just run that. And of course, you can do it on a cash basis or accrual basis. So now this is just Suite 400. Okay, so that's one of the main reasons where you can use a building in a property. It allows you to run a P&L, show you what your your building has done. Some people call this property. I know it seems all over the field on what they call buildings or properties, but that way you can run a P&L and see what this building has done, your strip store has done financially, so you can make decisions whether you need to sell it or not. Again, strip store, malls, mobile home parks, anything you want to group all your rental units, or you can just see what your single property did. If you're wondering why Suite 400 is not producing the income it needs to, okay, as opposed to the other suites. So that's one of the main reasons of buildings and properties. Okay. Now all these reports, since I'm on here, you can run them Excel, PowerPoint, PDF. You can print them, of course. And you can even search the report. Okay, so the reports are very functional. Let's go back here. So that's properties, and I'm not going to go over buildings. Buildings is pretty straightforward. Let's just click on Florida condo. I'll just give you an overview of it. This is the summary page for the property. There's my property name, my default image, the address, maps it out. It's currently vacant. Property documents. You can attach documents to everything in the software. You can download, upload. I have one open work order for the Florida condo, 32 closed work orders, one pending. I can look at applicants who have applied for this condo, look at work orders, add my photos, property report, notes, financials, send application link. If someone calls up and says, "Oh, I saw you sign for the Florida condo, I need to, I'd like to apply for it," you can just simply click application link here. It defaults the link in. Okay, all you have to do is type their email or their phone number and send it. Okay, you can do this even if you're on basic, the free version, but you just can't do multiple at one time. All right, so that's sending the application link, and this is just stuff like required for syndication. You have to put this if you want to syndicate out the properties. This is what's going to list with apartments and Zillow and amenities and so on. Okay, again, this is the summary page. If you need to edit the property, click edit property in the top right hand corner. Pretty straightforward. Make any change you need to do, and then you hit save down at the bottom. Okay, but you have additional information like purchase information, other information like utility companies that service the property, HOA if applicable, the school districts that the property is in, and so on. Okay, so that's editing the property. The tenants are going to be, they're called tenants, but it's really every renter that's in your system, and it's based on a status. Okay. Former tenant will still be in here. Current tenant, of course, currents and canceled tenants, former tenant, approved tenant, if they're just in approval process, rejected, if you rejected their application, will show up here. So just note that this is all the renters that are in your database. Now, you can set a filter here. We did put this up here so it's easy to filter, but you can also, of course, filter by the column as well. Okay, by phone number, any of the columns you want. Okay, we'll jump on Sam Anderson for a second. This is the summary for Sam Anderson. There's his name right there. His address, his other information, emergency contact, his ledger. You will see his ledger on this homepage. So if you have to pull up his account and they're on the phone with him, you see his ledger right there. You can also open up a bigger ledger and look at any questions. You remember that 9/12/25? That's his balance. That's what he also sees on his tenant portal when he logs in. Okay. You can upload documents. You have an option, do not share a document. So if you don't want to share this image one and check that, then they cannot see it on their tenant portal. Okay. Their profile is just basically their online application that they filled out, the references, employers, occupants, and so on. Okay. Communication, all communication is logged. So every time you send a message, email or text, it'll log it. This is my log file. All the times I've sent an email in this case. Please come by the office, and this is the notes I put into the email. Okay. Any notes that you want to put for Sam Anderson, type in here, hit save, and you can have a running list of notes. Okay. Great for, if you ever have to go to eviction courts or whatever, you can list notes on the date and time. It's like a journal, like a better term. Okay. I won't go the rest of this. Application questions. These are his answers on my custom applications when you fill out the online application. Kind of skip that. Applicants is the same thing as tenants. It's just that their status is only applicants. Okay. So these are people that applied that I've not done anything. If I want to leave them in here, if I want to approve of them and then maybe do a lease, I can do that. And they'll come over here under the tenant screen. Same exact thing. Leases. A lease is what puts a tenant into a property, connects the two, okay, for a period of time, a year, 2 years, however long they stay. That's what connects the two. So let me do a new lease, and I'm going to pick a tenant. Let's just pick Andy. And what property am I going to put him in? What rental unit? I'm going to do, we'll put him in, I don't know, vacant, the Florida condo, for example. What date did the lease start? You can backdate this if you need to. So if you're just starting with PropertyZar, you need to backdate this, a year ago, 2 years ago, you can certainly do that. But move out end date, that's all. Percent of camera responsibility. If it's commercial, you can put the camera responsibility. Let's say I have a strip store with 5 suites. They're going to be responsible for 20% of the cam expenses. I can put 20% there. Okay. That's not a commercial, so I'm just going to leave that blank. Just remember this because I will point something out to you in a moment. If you put the percent of cam responsibility, keep that in mind. I'll point this out to you. A leasing agent, I'm going to just leave that blank. For sake of time, I'm going to just speed through this. These are recurring charges. Of course, it defaults to rent. It defaults $850, which is what I have set for the Florida condo. You can set that under the properties. You can also override it here. Let's say I want it to $950. That's fine. So today's lease is going to be $950. Okay. Invoice start date. This is when it's going to start invoicing them in PropertyZar. If you were to backdate this to 2020, for example, a year back, because you just want to get it in the system, but you don't want to start invoicing until this year, in PropertyZar, that is. You've already been collecting your invoices. Then leave this for this year. You can backdate this as far back as you need to. If you need to add other recurring charges, simply add a row. Let's say a pet fee, for example. You can add a pet fee. I won't do it for sake of time, but maybe a pet fee is recurring, meaning every month. In this case, I have it set for every month. Okay. You can do, if you have weekly rentals, daily rentals, I think we have every day. Daily rentals for maybe extended stays. You can manage that as well. Okay. So we do have payment frequency. It defaults to every month, but you can certainly change it. So recurring means including, that's going to be recurring every month. Okay, this is one-time charges. It defaults to security deposit of $425. Again, that's because that's what I have set for my Florida condo. I can change it. I can add additional one-time charges, maybe a mailbox key deposit, maybe any other kind of one-time fees. It's up to you, but you can just simply add a row. You can add additional occupants, override the late fees. You wouldn't want to do that. I mean, most cases you don't. And you can set the rent increase. That's a progressive rent. So if you want to say this lease is going to increase by a percentage a year out, you can do that, and the system will automatically increase that rent when that time comes. Okay. So let's just hit save. And so what this invoice did, what this lease did was create the invoices. Of course, it saved my lease and it set my rent invoice to recurring. I also have a Loopit account. This is if you have a .loop account. .loop is like DocuSign. You can click on Loopit, and I'm going to. If you're not interested in the documents, you can skip and fast forward this. Okay, I'm going to show this real quick to you. I'm going to log in. So there's .loop. There's Andy Gonzalez, and remember that's who. Well, doesn't show. That's who we did the lease for. I can choose a template right here and hit. I'm going to auto do the template, and I'll auto fill it. Give me just a second. You can have multiple templates in here, and we'll do this, and then we'll auto fill. And yes, I'm going to just select what's here by default. I'm not going to add any extra fields, so it's going to be limited. But there's the date, and of course, this is just a sample. You need to have a single date usually to make it look nice, and then of course the address. There's the $950 rent. Remember, I changed it to $950, and there's my security deposit. Anyway, you can create your own lease, drag all the fields where you need it to go, and then somewhere down here at the bottom will be the signatures right here, landlord signs and the tenant signs. Okay, and then you can share and save it to them, send it to them via email. They can sign it electronically, but it's all maintained in .loop. Okay, that's all I'm going to say on that. We'll go back and we'll just hit OK. And so there's my lease. Now, if I look at my lease right here, there's my Andy Gonzalez lease. If I go back to just to show you what that did, let's jump over to accounting now. I went in order, by the way. And you need to do this in order because you can't add a property without an owner. You can't add a lease without a tenant and a property because that's what connects these two. So do this in order when you're doing some trial. Okay. This is my accounting page. Invoices, just to show you what it did. We'll sort this in descending. And there's the two invoices for it. Just the lease just created. There's the rent one for $950. It set it to recurring. That's what that symbol is for. And it created my security deposit. I don't have to do anything with accounting anymore, except maybe receive the first payment, unless he's set up to automatically do this right from here right away. Okay. But usually your first payment, you're going to collect with the signing of the lease or something to that nature. Okay. So it created that, and of course it set that to recurring, like I mentioned. So I don't have to do anything for accounting. Every month, all these recurring transactions. If you're familiar with QuickBooks, this is memorized transactions in QuickBooks. Every month, these things are going to be generated. I have it every month, but you can set different frequencies, okay, based on your lease. Okay. All of these, by the way, are breadcrumbs. You can navigate this way as well. So I won't go into the accounting too much. Invoices, receipt payments, refunds, credits. You can print invoices. You can enter bills. You can pay your bills, chart of accounts. You can have unlimited chart of accounts, although we come preloaded with a bunch, but you can also add your own journal entries. You can record bank deposits. You can go directly into your bank. The bank fees will get tied directly into your banks. That's only available in the enterprise version, not any of the standard or the basic. Okay, but you can tie into bank feeds. You can set rules that when the bank feed, when you see it in your bank and it's not in PropertyZar, you can set rules to how to enter it into PropertyZar. You can reconcile. You can transfer funds. You can look at your bank check register. You can print checks as well. Okay. Now, one thing, and by the way, these are my favorite reports. These are the same thing as under reports. Only we also show you the financial reports that you mark as favorite. You get to mark your own reports. We show them here. Since you're on accounting, it may be a good spot to just jump ahead and look at a report. Okay, but that's the same as the reports. This late invoice we also show here, but it's the same one on the dashboard. Okay, late invoices, same thing. We just, since you're on accounting, you also may want to see it on this page as well. Okay, of course you can mark it as collected or marked as paid. One thing I do want to point out, kind of a little different than QuickBooks or some of the things. Suppose you get a bill for CAM, if you have commercial property. There's a couple ways of doing it. Some people will all prorate, let's say electricity, parking lot cleanup or whatever, parking lot lights, stuff, electricity for the common area. Some people landlords will just prorate it and say you're going to pay an extra $50 a month. Your rent is $950, but you're going to pay $50 a month, and then at the end of the year we will reconcile. If you owe us money, that's fine. If I owe you money back because you overpaid, that's fine. We'll reconcile. We do have a report for CAM reconciliation, so it helps you do all that very easily. But other ways, sometimes people will say, when I get the bill, the CAM bill, then I pass it on to you, the tenant. Okay. So if you do it that way, this is one example. So if I click a plus sign here, I'm going to add a new bill. So I'm going to say it's from Cleveland Utilities, for example, CAM expenses. That's fine. And I'm going to say it's for my building. Let's just say Bradley Square Mall. We use that as an example. Okay. So let's just say they gave me a bill of $1,200 for electric for the month, for the mall, which is, however many suites you have in the mall. Okay. Everything else looks fine. You have an option here, of course, just to save the bill, and then you pay the bill. You can also mark up, by the way, if you want to mark up for the owner. So you can do that. So save and create an invoice. What this is going to do is make it really easy. If you had any tenants, I thought I had some. That's why I was going to show it to you. It would load up all the tenants inside the mall. Okay. I don't. So otherwise, let me see if I can pause this and find one that has a building. Stand by. Okay. I didn't have anybody in my Bradley Square Mall as a lease, so I just had to add a couple people real quick. This is all test data. So I'm back on my invoice, on my bill, I should say, from Cleveland Utilities for the $1,200. But if I do, and the key is it's tied. This bill is tied to this mall. Okay, that's the key. So if I hit save and create invoice, then it's going to load up all the people, all my tenants inside the mall. Okay, which I have two: Fraser Crane and David Sherlin. So it automatically calculates $360 and $240, because on their lease, and I told you, remember that one field on their lease, I had percent of CAM responsibility. So Fraser Crane was responsible for 30%, and David was responsible for 20%. That's why it auto calculates this. Again, I'm just explaining this. You can do it real quick. So there's my bill amount, and I'm just going to hit save, and it automatically creates these invoices as well as my bill, saves my bill. So there's my bill right here. So the bill is still there for $1,200. I still have to pay it. I'm responsible as a property manager to pay it. But if you go to invoices, and that was only 2 tenants. So, think if you had 15 tenants inside that mall, okay, or whatever commercial building it is. So there's the 2 invoices it created with one click. It created an invoice for Fraser and one for David. Now, when Fraser logs into his mobile app, of course, he's going to see his balance adjusted accordingly. Okay, so with one click, you can pass that bill on to all your tenants, okay, that are inside that building. I should say an apartment building, a strip store, mobile home park, or whatever your building is. All right. Work orders is everything work order management. Most work orders will come through the app or the portal, okay, with submitting a work order. But if for some reason tenants don't use this and they just want to call you or walk up to your front desk if you're in a mobile home park or apartment building, then you can come in here and just actually create your new work order manually. I'm not going to do it. It's all pretty self-explanatory. Description, work to be performed, any special entry instructions, don't let the cat out or whatever. Now, when you select a vendor here that you assign it to, it's going to tell you he's got 5 open work orders and he's got 1 pending. Okay. You pick a different vendor. So you also have an option to email and or text. So once I fill this out and I hit save, it's going to automatically email and text Al the plumber this work order. And if you chose a property, it actually sends in the text and email Al plumber, it sends him the property address, not just the property name. So he has all the information he will need from the email and text about this work order. Okay. I won't go beyond that. FF&Es. If you track furniture, fixtures, and equipment, you can do that here. If you don't track that, you can fast forward this video. Okay, but I'll just show you on Maytag refrigerator, for example. You can track the warranty information, documents. You can upload documents about this Maytag. You can track serial numbers, filter sizes. In this case, it would be a water filter. But if it's an HVAC system, you can track up to 3 return filter sizes. You can order parts. You click on that, it'll take you directly to Amazon for that particular item. So this is the water filters for that. You can set reminders. If you want to create a reminder, here it is, reminder, change the water filter. Okay. Now I was doing some testing, so you can put whatever message you want in there. You can also, if you ever wanted to record a video and upload it to YouTube, you can put the URL in here for the YouTube video. And if you send it to the current tenant, whoever the current tenant is, because that changes over time. So if you check that, then email and text, you can hit save. It'll automatically send this reminder to change the water filter what I have daily. Okay, that's because I was doing a test. But normally water filters may be changed quarterly or something like that. Whatever. Air filters, of course, would be on probably a monthly basis. So you can set reminders. Okay. That's furniture, fixtures, and equipment. Vendors, all your list of all your vendors, pretty straightforward. Plumbers, electricians, Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever. Click new vendor up here, add a new vendor. Communication is, you can do mass communications. Like if I chose a mall, you can show a specific status, or you can show the entire people inside the mall. Remember, I only had 2 in there, Fraser and David. So it loads up those 2 tenants automatically when I select my building. Of course, if you had 15 people inside the mall, it would load up all 15, so you don't have to remember who they are. You can create your own templates if you want. Water turn off, for example. Subject, and there's my notes, my tenant, my template notes, I should say. And then it hits email or text, and you can send it. You can attach it to files, of course, only to an email. You can't attach to its text, but you can do that. Okay. So it'll load up. You can do mass communications, except for the basic version. Documents, I won't go over that, but documents are every single module here. That's just the master one. Tasks are just like Outlook tasks, things to do. Yeah, I won't go into this. New tasks. Keep in mind, this is a comprehensive package. You don't have to use all of it. You don't have to use tasks. You don't have to use furniture, fixtures, and equipment. You don't have to use a schedule module where you can create appointments. So I'll just show that to you. You don't have to use all this. This is all optional. Of course, the basic will be, let this load for a second. So this is, you can go look at a week, month, a day. But if you want to create a new appointment, click on the date, hit OK, set the new appointment, who's going to be in attendance. I'll just show it to you real quick. Appointment, it's a make ready appointment type, but it could be a showing, it could be whatever. Property name, we'll do the townhouse. You can set reminders, email to everybody or just your staff. Let's say 24 hours, 1 day in advance. What else? Let's not make this too early. Oops. Yeah, so let's not make this too early, and then so 12:30 in the afternoon. Staff is your internal people, your people working for you. And by the way, all these attendees, they could be tenants, they could be vendors. If you need a vendor included, they could be owners, property owners, whatever. So you have multiple options. Save it. I can add a new reminder, maybe a text to everybody, maybe 1 hour in advance. Okay. Now, these appointments include, like in the text, for example, includes the address of this property, which I didn't select the property. Oh, yes, I did. I'm sorry. 124. It'll include the actual address. It includes the phone number of the staff or the property manager. So when they get the text, it's actually, they can click on the address and map it. If they're coming from out of town, they can actually click on the phone number and dial you if they're saying, hey, I'm running 10 minutes late. So it's not just a reminder, it's also informative. Okay. So anyway, that's the appointments. Again, you don't have to use it. And then reports is, we got a lot of reports. These are all the ones I've marked as favorites, but you got communication reports, FF&Es, furniture fixtures, financial reports is a lot. We do 1099s as well, but you got a scroll bar over here. So these are all the financial reports, from trial balances to rent rolls, reconciliation reports, P&Ls by quarter. Let me just show you this one. Let me close out some of these other. Okay, so this is by quarter. So this is P&L by quarter. You can do it by property or building, but this is by quarter one, quarter two, quarter three. Of course, we're halfway through quarter three or whatever. Quarter four is none yet, of course. So this is income, expenses, then this will give you balance, your total, your net per quarter. So that's a nice, P&L by quarter report. Right? If I need to export this, I can export this. If you need to put it to just one building, like my Bradley Store Mall, you could do that. And then, but anyway, there's a lot of reports. I won't go through all of them. Not just number crunching reports, but we also have form letters. Okay, so if you like, here's a 5-day notice to quit. So we can also do letters. So if I do, who do we do today? David Sherlin. I think we did. Let me see here. Yeah. So here, this is a form letter. You would print it out, sign it, mail it to him, drop it in his mailbox, or whatever your situation is. But this reads from the database. So this is his actual current balance, $37.80. So it automatically plugs this information into the form letter, his address, his rental property that he's renting from you. And you can send this off. So we can add more form letters if you have different ones. We can put them in. But point is, the reports can do form letters, eviction notices, not just number crunching reports. Okay. Anyway, those are reports. Over here on the top right, real quick, you can search the entire database. Just click on that and search. You can have little sticky notes you want to type in there. You can. The gear icon is your setup. This is where you set up your subscriber accounting information. I will touch on this real quick. I know it's you may be getting tired, but I will touch on that. I'll come back in just a second. Late fees, you can auto calculate your late fees, auto enter. You can do it by flat fee or percentage. I do flat fee. 2 days late, I charge $45. 3 days late, I charge $8. 5 days late, I charge $5. You have up to 3. You don't have to use all 3. You can use one. We have most people just use one. They say, hey, after 2 days late, it's $10 a day, period. Okay, and you don't have to use a second and third. The only time second and third is if you need to make an adjustment to this one. Okay, right here. You can also put a max, so it will max out if you want to max. You could do that. So once you set this and you set that to auto enter, auto calculate, once you set this and hit save, you don't have to touch late fees again. It's automatically generated every night. It'll go through all the late invoices, and based on your rules here, if it's after 3 days, it'll add $8 as long as it doesn't exceed your max. If it's after 5 days, it'll do that, and so on. So once you set this, you don't have to touch it. Okay, the late fees, that is. All right. I won't go through automation. Just a lot of setups here. Send a subscriber an email when a tenant pays an invoice. Days in advance to advertise, and that's not available through the basic, the free version. Send a text invoice reminders and an email invoice reminders 3 days in advance. This is automatically email late invoice reminders. This is upcoming invoices. This is late. So if you turn those on, it'll send email reminders, text reminders, all kinds of automation here. This is the credit reporting. You can upcharge it if you want to. This is where you can create your application questions for the online application. You can create your own email templates. You saw the water turnoff I used earlier. You can create your own. No limit to that. Move out charges. This is your common move out charges. You can add new charges. So when you do move a tenant out, if you want to go ahead and add this to their invoice, then you could do that. And just to show you that real quick, and then I'll come back to what I was going to show you on this accounting part. Okay. So if you move a tenant out, let's move out. I forgot who we did. Let me look here real quick. So let's move out David. Okay, we'll move out David Sherlin. So let's do this real quick. Let me pause this. I'll go ahead and get him where I'll just do it to you. Receive payment. I didn't receive David's payment for sake of time, but I'll just do it now. Assuming when he moved in, he paid you. All right. So there's that and that, and he has a bunch. Okay. Let's just say he paid it all. All right. He paid it on the 10th. All right, so I'm going to say he paid it all, right, and then save it. So he doesn't have any balance due, David Sherley. So if I go to move him out, I can do it from the lease or from the tenant. I can do it either way. So we'll do lease, David Sherlin, move out. He doesn't have any outstanding invoices, okay? Because remember, I just now paid him. He just now paid him, so he's paid everything. So what I owe him is $21.75. Why? Because that's his security deposit, what he paid me. So I owe that back to him. Okay. So now, but there's my default add move out charges. So he's moving out. I can put a forwarding address, and I can say, you know what? I'm going to add this a cleaning fee. So now it's going to create that as a invoice, and so now his balance is 2050. Because it subtracts that out of his what I owe him anyways for security deposit. If I just check that, and then let's see, anything else I need to do? Issue a refund upon closing. Okay, refund, because now he could owe you money, and then it would be collect rent or collect balance from the tenant. But this is I have to issue a refund. If I hit close lease and move out, got everything done all I want, but that's where the move out charges come right in here. You can have a whole list up here, pick and choose which ones you want to add when you move a tenant out. Okay, this is issuing refund. I'm going to issue. You can want to do electronically. You can do electronic ACH basically. I'll just give him cash for this sake, and save it. So now all the accounting is updated. Okay, so that's the move out. Now, one thing I want to show you on this real quick. Accounting. So let me refresh this. I want to show you something on the accounting. You can set your late fees. I'm sorry, your management fees based on a default for everybody, or you can do it per owner. If an owner you charge one owner 6% management fee, you charge another owner 4%, another one 10%. So you can have it based on different. Okay, I'm going to show you. This is our default. Let me get down here. Owner specific. So if I go to, for example, Kyle McCall, here's his method. I'm going to choose. Hold on just a second. Let me see which one I want. Okay, so here I had to look at something when I set up for Kyle McCall. So this is a specific owner, Kyle. I can do it by percentage or flat fee. This is on my management fees. Okay, I've got mine set by percentage. And I have a percentage of 10%, and I have a minimum of 0. You can do a plus an additional fee of if you want, and it's of course based on charge what I chose. Now these are all the chart of accounts that I want to have control over. This is very flexible. You can pick which one. The first column is do management fees apply, and then or you can do account splits. Okay, so I'll show this to you on the main screen. Just to let you know that this is specific for Kyle. You can break it down by owner. Okay. So I'm going to hit close. I'm going to show you on a little bit bigger screen. It'll be easier to see. This is the default. Okay. It's the same screen we were looking at, only it's the default. So if you don't override it and set an owner, then it uses this. So percentage, 10%, plus an additional fee of based on received. Now these are all my management fees and account splits. These are all my chart of accounts. Okay. Which you get to put under accounting. Okay, so what it means is this: if I collect convenience fee, okay, or cleaning and maintenance fee, I am not going to charge a management fee because that's not checked. I'm not going to charge 10%. If I collect furniture rental, I'm going to split it, count splits with the owner. I'm going now. Again, this is only if you're a professional property manager and doing it for multiple owners. If you're self-managing, you can actually fast forward this, pass all this setup. Okay. But let me continue. So on furniture rental, maybe you have an agreement with the owner to split it. You collect 60% the subscriber, 40% to the owner. So if you collected $100 in furniture rental this month, you get 60, 40 goes to the owner. Okay. Or the management fee. So down here, for example, I got rent, a management fee supply. Okay, so if I collect $1,000 in rent, my management fee will be $100. Okay, so if I chose, I can actually just show it to you. Let me just quickly show you. This is a video. You can stop it if you're If you don't need to see it, you can just fast forward. Just remember, rent and management fees apply, and furniture rental is 60/40, and let's just pick cleaning and maintenance is nothing. Okay, let me just point this out to you. So to show this to you real quick, and then we'll be done. And if you want to fast forward this, you can. If you're self-managing, this does not apply to you, because you won't be paying yourself this way. You just, whatever's left over in your bank is yours. So let's do a new invoice real quick. We'll pick it for Andy, and we'll do the 124 townhouse. And here I want to do rent. And okay, we'll set this for $1,000 just to make it easy to calculate. We're going to do another line item for it was furniture rental, right? If I can spell, there it is, furniture rental. Well, again, for sake of ease of doing this, I'll do $100. Okay. So this should get $60 to the property manager, $40 to the owner, and so on. And then we'll do what was it, cleaning and maintenance, right? Is nothing, right? So we'll pick cleaning and maintenance at $200. Okay. Now, well, we got obviously have to mark it as paid, otherwise it's not owed to the owner unless you collect it as a property manager. So just remember, $1,000 should be $100 in management fees. Furniture rental, I should get 60. Okay, I should get 160. This should all go to the owner, because that I didn't have that set anywhere on that setting up the management fees. That was not checked to give, so all of that's going to go to the owner. Let's just say it that way. So save and marked as paid, and that is for today's date. All right. So now, if I go to pay owner, and just to make sure I know who owns 124 townhouse, I think it's Kyle. Yeah, Kyle McCall owns 124 townhouse. So now I want to go ahead and pay the owner. We'll pay Kyle McCall right here. And I'm actually just going to put today's date. Okay, that's because that's the invoice. Otherwise, I get all kind of other garbage in here. Okay, records that make it be confusing. I don't think I have any more for today. I hope not, for the illustration purposes. Okay. Okay, I got something not set up the 16th. We've collected $1,365. That's what I owe. I can refund to the owner, and then I can do a Bambora payment. This is who we use, and I can do electronic transfer, or I can do just a paper check or whatever. Okay, so that's how the pay owner works. This pulls from what's been collected. If you ever need to see the breakdown of this, click the little printer icon, and it will show you what's been collected on the townhouse. See, there's Suite 300. That's what's throwing those numbers off, because that was on today's date. So let me. That's the move out charge that we did today. So anyway, that's what's showing you. This is what's the owner is net. Here's the owner net right here. So let me make that a little bit bigger. Just make sure you can see it. So the owner would be getting $1,040 because we're splitting the furniture. Okay, he gets 40, I get 60, and then 200 all goes to him for the cleaning and maintenance. Okay, so furniture rental, he gets 40. He gets the whole rent, of course, and so he gets $1,240, and then minus my 110 minus my 160, 100 for this, and 60 for the balance of that. So point is, paying the owner will do all the calculations for you. You don't have to remember. Once you set up your management fees one time, then it's auto calculated from that point going forward. Okay. Support online chat. You see the chat down here. You can also do it here. You can submit a support ticket. You can book an appointment for training. Again, depending on your subscription. Depending on your subscription, you can call us or not. FAQs is available for everybody. We have a ton of FAQs. A lot of them have videos. That one has a video. That one doesn't. So a lot of them have videos you can click on. Okay. And then you can also do PZ University is nothing but training videos. And then workflow will help you get started by giving you a wizard. Okay. If you have any questions, you go to PropertyZar.com, PropertyZar.com, and contact us for, you can schedule a trial, 15-day trial. We have no obligation, no credit cards required for the trial. And we don't have a contract. So you can just month to month, and we'll go from there.